This is Jake with AG Russell Knives. Thanks for joining me today. I'm here with Kyle.
What's going on, guys?
Today we're going over the new CRKT knives of 2020. There is a ton of them. We're actually going to split this up into 2 videos. This will be part 1, but even still, we're going to have to fly through these. So we're just going to jump right in.
All right, up first, we've got the an update on the Foltz Minimalist.
Yeah.
It's got a 3D printed blade, which is supposedly supposed to hold up pretty well.
3D laser engraved.
Laser engraved,
Yeah.
sorry. And it's got in a green color there to match the handle. It's kind of got a gear design is what it looks like. It's definitely a cool, kind of twist on the original design. They did upgrade the blade as well to an 8CR instead of a 5, so you have that to look forward to.
This is on my list.
Yep, it does come with the green matching sheath, which is, fits in there real well.
Yes, I think the sheath is probably the best part about it.
Yeah, it does, and it's good. If you've ever dealt with one of these, they're real easy to use. Does have a little bit of jimping up here on the top, so you can get on there for some point control. Just a real solid knife, kind of a nice update to a knife that was already in the line. CRKT, kicking it off well.
Next, we have the Clever Girl folder. It was a fixed blade. Yep. This is part of the Forge and War series. So they've remade it into a folder. This is designed by Austin McClellan. They're really digging into the deadbolt this year. Really solid locking knife.
Yep.
It comes out with a pretty great action just right out of the box.
And Jake actually, as a lefty, has discovered that he can operate it left-handed as well. So that's a big plus.
It's really easy to find because it's just a big button.
Yep.
Some other button locks I've struggled with.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, where is it? Okay, I see.
It's got a big spot for you to get, so it's a really good one. And Jake, do you want to talk about the adjustments?
If you look at this screw, there's a little tiny screw in the handle, and it will adjust the ball detent in the blade, so you can adjust how difficult or easy it is to pop the blade open, which is a really cool feature.
Yeah, it's a cool design. Definitely something that you don't see every day. Up next, we've got the Apoc, which comes in both plain and serrated. So you've got one with VEF serrations.
Yes,
which
super
is
useful.
Awesome. They are fantastic. Cutting through pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I mean, we've tested it on all kinds of stuff. It's fantastic.
A lot of our customers have our ceramic sharpening rods, which makes them really easy to sharpen with. Yeah.
And these do come with a deep pocket clip, so you have that to look forward to. I'm, huge on that. And these are a pretty substantial knife. So if you're looking for,
it's a big boy.
Yeah, if you're looking for a work knife, this might be the route you want to go.
Yes.
The price point on them's pretty good. I think it's like $60 around
just
that.
Under,
so it's a good price point for what you're getting. Just a real nice knife. I really like it. It's got kind of a hammered finish around the scale, and then the same thing on the blade, although it's more in kind of a drip pattern.
Yeah, that's what I would call it.
Yeah. But just a real nice looking knife. Probably going to be a great performer, I would say. Kind
of a post-apocalypse sort of look.
Yeah.
Next we have the Chehalem, also by Eric Oakes. Pretty solid hollow grind on the blade here, so I think you're going to get a pretty slicey blade. It's got that sort of Persian look to it, almost like an upswept blade. It's got a big thumb hole for that easy opening.
Yeah, I really like the thumb hole on the smaller knives. A lot of times the thumb hole can be difficult to achieve without making it stand out real far from the frame. When you can do it well on a small knife, it's fantastic. It's just one of those opening mechanisms where you have, if you have gloves on, you can still use it, and that's a big deal because
versus thumb studs, it's way harder.
Yeah, thumb studs you can't hardly ever get open with gloves on. It's a pain in the butt. So
kind of a smaller knife. It's got a deep pocket clip, which is super nice. It's got the hammered finish. Yep. So it's got a little bit of heft, but it's a smaller knife. So those guys who are looking to know that there's something in their pocket, but don't want something massive, this would be a good choice.
Yeah, that's definitely a good.
And very reasonable. I think it's like $30, $29, something like that. Check the website for current pricing.
Yep. All right. Now these next two are the Linchpins. which again come in a plain edge and a combo with the VEF serrations, which these are a little bit more, I would say, elongated than the ones on the Apoc. Not by much, but just a little bit more swept out, elongated, whatever you want to call it. They're using the deadbolt as well. You're going to see that a lot this year.
Yes.
I mean, they are getting their money's worth out of that tooling for sure. And a deep pocket clip, although the knife will stick out just a little bit. The deep pocket clip doesn't go all the way to the end of the frame, but still a real
You want it to
solid,
fit in your pocket still.
Yeah,
It's a pretty big knife.
Yeah, it's still a pretty hefty knife, and these are pretty substantial little knives right here. They're not little guys for sure.
Flavio Coma design, very similar to the Seismic.
Yeah, very similar.
Next we have the Piet. This is a Jesper Voxnes design. Looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a very sort of dressed up look to it. It's got some nice.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of stuff coming out of Europe. The Italian knives and things like that kind of got that same general look to it.
He does a lot of designs for them. It's got that nice blue backspacer again with the thumb hole. Fairly easy to flick open if you're right-handed. Left-handed, it doesn't really flick open one-handed, left-handed, but it does have a reversible clip, so you can do it left-handed.
Yeah. I'd say if you're using it left-handed, you're probably going to be looking at a two-handed open just because the thumb is very hard to get down in there.
Yeah.
You could do it one-handed. It just takes a little bit of effort. So it's just kind of, just keep that in mind if you are a lefty who wants to switch it over. But the design of the knife is fantastic. I really like the blade shape. Not necessarily a stubby blade, but kind of has the blade shape of a short stubby. But yeah, just a real nice.
It's got that swooping belly to it.
Yep, I really like that. All right, up next we've got the first responder version of the Provoke.
Yes.
Which is a knife that CRKT came out with last year.
It's been really popular.
It's been really popular. It is a touch on the expensive side.
It is,
but,
for CRKT.
This is definitely what you're looking at is a lot of innovation here. It's a folder.
A folding karambit.
It's a folding karambit. So it's definitely not something you're going to see every day. It does come with a sheath and tech lock, for lack of a better term.
Tech lock sheath.
And
then some webbing, a webbing
little bit of
clip,
webbing,
which is nice.
And then on the end of the knife, on the top end, there is a glass breaker.
They've
right here.
added the glass breaker, yeah.
So you do have that on there as well. And I did round it a little bit so that you're not dealing with something,
not poking through your pocket.
But yeah, definitely a cool little design. Fits in the sheath real well there. And yeah, just an update on the Provoke with a little bit of new stuff added to it.
A few options.
Yeah.
Next we have a Lucas Burnley design, the Tuna. It's got that green G10 handle with some like burnt orange accents there.
It kind of looks copper-ish. Like if you're into that look, I know Jake really loves the copper look.
Yes.
But if you're into that look, and I like the colors together, I think they look, very, I guess, military-ish.
Yeah.
Just kind of a good design. I like the lines of the knife.
Yeah, it's got nice lines. It's got that swooping belly. Again, I love the swooping belly. It's got great slicing. When you have changing angle that whole way, the changing angle makes a big difference when you're cutting through something.
Yep. Nice solid frame lock. Just a good knife.
Next we have the Sketch. Oh, I had my finger on the lock bar there. Don't do that.
Yeah, makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. Also by Lucas Burnley, it's got that K-tip with the reinforced tip. You can see it's got a thicker tip here, if I can get it to focus.
There you go.
Yeah. So if you're rough on your tips, something like this with that thickened tip might be a solid way to go. That way you can still dig into what you're trying to get into, but not worry about your tip like on a leak or something with a needle point.
Yeah. You're sacrificing a little bit of that piercing quality, but you're gaining a lot of strength at the end of the tip there. So
yes, it's got some nice green highlights, kind of a bright green, full stainless steel handle. So it's got a little bit of heft to it, but it's not going to break.
Yep.
Solid lockup on the frame there. Not quite a deep pocket clip. It looks like a deep pocket clip, but it sticks out just a little bit.
Yeah, it's placed further down on the knife than a traditional deep pocket clip.
But I love this style of blade. I think that point control for that excellent detail work, I think is something that I use probably the most.
All right, up next we've got the full throttle assisted opener, which is just a knife that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
It's a Matthew Lurch design, which we'll have his wife coming up here in just a second. I love the sweeping line on this one. It just looks so classy. I just really like it. It is a little frame lock with a deep pocket clip here. Pretty much, that deep pocket clip was almost to the end there, so you're not going to see much of that knife sticking out the top. It is a thumb stud open and assisted, so you're going to have 2 hands to close it, unless you're just have monster hands. Yeah, just a really solid knife with clean lines. Just something I really enjoy is when you open that knife and you look at it while it's sitting there, it's just like, oh, those lines are fantastic. And then we've got MJ Lurch.
MJ, Matthew's wife here. We have the Burnout. If you look at the pictures online or in the catalog, it looks kind of like a small knife, but it is not. It's a big knife. I have...
Jake's got some big
large
hands. Yeah, Jake's got big hands.
And I'm getting full grip on there with a little bit of room to spare, and I could choke up a bit too. And if you got really big hands, you get your pinky on this last section here. It's got a carbon fiber overlay here with G10 handles. Not as heavy as you'd think it would be, but the backside is metal, so it's not super, super light. It is to have that really nice deep pocket clip.
Yeah, it does. Although I'm not sure how, it's a pretty big knife, so fitting it down in your pocket might be a little bit of a challenge. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it will. It will.
But if you can fit it down in there, nobody's going to know that it's there.
Yep. It's full black with kind of a black wash on it. And then one thing I think that is nice that they've really improved on is you have to get it at least 30% open before it opens. That way it's not going to open your pocket, so you don't need that extra safety lock on it.
Up next we have the Inara, which is a Richard Rogers design. Again, just the lines on this one.
It's just flat across the bottom.
I love the flat line at the bottom. I mean, anytime you can do a knife design and you can include some kind of line like that, it just aesthetically is so nice. This is a frame lock. Doesn't have a deep pocket clip, but it is a fairly small knife as far as the weight is concerned and just the general feel of it. My hands aren't as big as Jake's, but I'm taking up the whole knife pretty easily. It's going to be a knife that you could use around the office if you wanted to. You could carry it and no one would be like, oh my gosh, what's that huge knife sticking out of his slacks or whatever. It's just a real nice knife, and I like the blade. It's got obviously you're not going to be able to really do any piercing action necessarily with it, but as far as opening up boxes,
it's got that lower tip for that.
It's gonna be fantastic for stuff like that. Just your everyday kind of stuff. It's gonna knock it out real easily.
I will say I do struggle a little bit opening it one-handed. You gotta keep your hands off of the frame lock.
Yeah, that can be a little difficult, especially with Jake has larger hands. So I mean, it's going to be difficult for him.
I'm going to be a
two-hand
open.
But it does, if you can get your hand on there in a way where you can get a hold of it correctly, it does open very well.
Yeah. Kyle can flick it open, no problem. Next we have the Jenny Wren hatchet. Just a small camp hatchet, great for hiking, camping, get your tinder going, and just kindling. It's got that bearded axe section here, so that little sort of finger choil, if you will, for that detail work, which I think is really important in a small axe. It is sharpened all the way around, like all the way around. The only thing that isn't sharpened is your choil here and this back section right here, but the entire spike and the whole blade and the top is all sharpened.
You can use it for most tasks you'd have to perform around a campsite. I mean, it's definitely multi-use, and it's a cool design. I think it's unique that every part of it is sharpened, so you have different cutting angles you can use, different edges you can use. Definitely something different.
Yeah,
And it does have a pretty nice sheath.
Yeah,
with
pretty
it as
solid
well.
sheath. It locks in pretty good, and it's got an strap here, so you can strap that to your belt or backpack or however you want to carry it.
Yep.
Next, we have the Utsidihi.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not even going to try and say it.
Fixed blade. It is scout carry. I'm helping customers in the store all the time. They're always looking for more options in the scout carry, so I'm always glad to see something going horizontal here.
Yep.
So it's got the loop, so you can go left-hand or right-hand, which is great because right-handers can draw it from behind the back, and then left-handers can put it. You can put it anywhere.
Yep.
Which is solid. Pretty thick blade.
Yep, definitely for the size of the knife. It's got a good thick blade. Of course, the handle is it's one solid piece. So
it's got that. It's kind of styled after like a flint knife.
Yes,
like the old Native Americans.
And I would think you could change out the paracord fairly easily without having done it myself.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to go a bright orange so you could find it when you put it down, you can just swap that out, and it'll take you a few minutes to do it, but it'll be worth it. Next, we have the Parascale.
All right, Parascale. Same thing on this one. So you can swap out the paracord, which I think is pretty cool. You don't see that often on folders.
Yes.
So you can
you can kind of personalize yourself.
You can customize for sure. I really like the blade on this one. It's just got great. The point on it is in an excellent position where you can just you can use it for just about anything. I really enjoy that, and you can get up here. It doesn't have any jimping right here, but it does have a good feel in the hand where you can get up there without losing any grip. And then, of course, you do have a deep pocket clip back here, and it is fairly close to the edge there, so you could pretty much stick that thing all the way down in the pocket. It is using the deadbolt lock.
Great action out of the box.
Does work really well. Jake did point out something to me, though, a minute ago whenever he was handling it, and that it's a little uncomfortable if you really choke up, if you really squeeze down on it.
Really hunker down, like if you're like really shaving some wood real hard.
Yeah, it's
a little bit of a hot spot in the bottom here.
Yeah, it's mainly where that paracord sits in, right here. It's just that the paracord doesn't meet with the plastic, and so it's just a little uncomfortable. Now, if you're wearing gloves, you're not going to notice.
If you're going to doing that, you're probably wearing gloves anyways.
You're not going to notice, but it is something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
We don't ever want to, not point something out that we've noticed, in case you guys are like, I got this knife and it's uncomfortable, and we're over here just saying like, oh yeah, it's
every knife they review is perfect.
Yeah. So just want to point that out.
Next, we have another TJ Swartz design. This is the Overland. Very similar kind of in look to the Tuna. It's got that green G10 with the orange, but instead of burnt orange, it's more of a bright orange.
Yeah, this one doesn't have as much shine to it.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely a brighter orange. It's got the G10 thumb stud opening here.
That's another one where the tip is if you're looking at these two knives and you're thinking, okay, I may be too hard on the tip on some of your knives, then you might want to go with this. You might want to go with this one comparative to the Tuna, just because of the tip strength is going to be much greater on that one.
A little bit thicker.
Yeah.
He's got the blade angled such that normally like a K-tip sort of sheep's foot like this, it would actually be lower compared to the handle. That way you can get the great tip control. But he's actually got the entire blade just kind of sitting up higher, so you can get that better piercing. The blade tip is more in line with the handle as you're holding it.
Yep.
So you're getting better piercing out of it.
But you do have
you
the
do
jimping
sacrifice
up there.
the tip control just a smidgen.
Yeah, just a little bit. You just have to raise your wrist a little bit more. But I think it's worth it to get that piercing because you can operate it both
It's a little
ways.
more versatile.
It's a little bit more versatile, but it's it's one of those where
not as specialized, more versatile. It's just kind of give and take.
Yeah.
It's pretty strong. It's a solid looking. I like it. It's got a good look to it.
All right, and then we have
last one of the video.
Yeah, the last one of the video, the Thero. I really like the aesthetics of this one. That little pop of red right there at the pivot, a carbon fiber underlay, which you don't see very often, really catches your eye, especially in the light. If you're looking at it and it flashes at you, it's just kind of a good look. I think that the thumb hole is not great for getting your thumb into, but it does have a flipper as well, so it kind of makes it fine.
Flipper's my go-to, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm more of a thumb stud, thumb hole guy. Prefer the thumb stud over everything, but if I'm wearing gloves, the thumb hole's obviously much easier.
Preferable.
But just in my opinion, the thumb hole is a little difficult to get into, but they've provided a secondary opening option with the flipper, so you have that. It is a liner lock. The opposite side is designed exactly the same. Nice, easy to operate.
Some people prefer liner locks, especially since you don't have to keep your fingers off one side.
That is very true.
Nice.
Yeah, especially if you're dealing with a smaller knife. And this one is on the smaller side. It's not tiny, but it is on the smaller side. Definitely a nice look. I really like the look of this one.
It's got that dinosaur theropod sort of look to it.
Yep. Definitely one of my faves of this production here for CRKT.
So, of the knives on the table, Kyle, which is your favorite?
Oh, which one's my favorite?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the Piet. The reason being, I like the lines.
Yes.
I like the lines of Lurch's design a little bit better, but I like the pop of blue here.
Yes.
Like I said, it kind of reminds me a lot of those European knives that you see. And I think the thumb hole is really well done on this one.
I think it is.
It's just, and I like that the deep pocket clip goes all the way to the end.
Yes.
So it's all the way down in there. And it's got kind of that, that stubby blade design, even though it's not super short. I just really like it. Just a solid one.
That was probably gonna be my choice too.
Well,
but
I'm sorry to steal it from you.
I think for a secondary, I'm gonna go with the minimalist here with the gears on it.
Yep.
Pretty cool looking. I just say I enjoy the short handle with the sheath. So even though I have big hands, the finger choils plus the lanyard give me enough to grip so that I still feel like I got full control on the blade. So I think really cool design.
Yep. I just looking at what's in front of us here without going into what else we have to cover, I feel like CRKT really, brought a lot of new designs to the table this year, and definitely implemented the deadbolt in a lot of their new designs in a good way.
Yes, which I'm glad. I was hoping they were gonna.
Yeah, and you can always, with something new, you can always introduce it in a way where it doesn't work or it's overkill or something like that. But I feel like the ones they decided to do it with are correct choices. They've used it on some of the bigger ones. Obviously, the deadbolt is a larger lock. The button on it is larger, so if you tried to squeeze it on a smaller knife, I'm not sure how it would work.
Not sure how it would work.
So I thought they did a good job choosing what they decided to put that on. Really impressed so far.
Solid work knives.
Yeah,
solid work knives.
I'm looking forward to covering the rest of them for sure.
Let us know in the comments which one is your favorite, and then we will see you for part 2. One real quick, I did have a couple questions from customers. The background, as well as that American flag box, we do sell. I will put a link to those in the description. But thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.